Before we continue, if you believe our stories deserve to be heard, do me a quick favor. Hit the like button, subscribe, and share this video with someone who loves meaningful African tales. Let's keep our stories alive together. The scream tore through the marble halls of the billionaire's mansion, just as the baby slipped from the maid's arms. Security alarms wailed. Guards rushed in. The infant girl, barely 8 months old, was crying, her tiny fists shaking the air. Standing frozen in the center of the nursery was the young maid, only 21, caramel-skinned, curvy, dressed in a black and white maid uniform that was now wrinkled and stained. Her blouse was unbuttoned in panic. Her eyes were wide, glossy with fear. And at the doorway stood the child's mother. Naomi Kingsley did not shout at first. She did not move. She simply stared. What she was seeing did not make sense. The room smelled of herbs and burnt oil. Strange markings were drawn with white chalk beneath the baby's crib. A small calabash bowl sat open beside the rocking chair. And the maid, Nia, was shaking, trying to cover herself, whispering words that sounded like a prayer but were not Christian, not familiar. "What is going on here?" Naomi finally asked, her voice low and dangerous. Nia dropped to her knees. "Madam, please, I can explain." But explanations would not save her. Because at that moment, Naomi understood one terrifying truth. This was not a mistake. This was a ritual. And her daughter was the target. Naomi took one step forward, then another. She lifted her child from the floor, holding her tight against her chest. The baby calmed instantly, as if she recognized safety. Naomi's hands were steady, but her heart was pounding like thunder. "Who sent you?" Naomi asked. Nia did not answer. Her lips trembled, tears rolled down her cheeks. "Who taught you this?" Naomi demanded again. Still silence. Naomi turned slowly to the guards. "Lock this room. Nobody leaves this floor." The doors slammed shut. And somewhere deep in the mansion, a powerful man, the billionaire himself, was about to learn that evil had been sleeping under his roof. But what Naomi would do next would change every life in that house forever. 6 months earlier, the Kingsley mansion had welcomed Nia with open arms. The estate sat on the edge of Atlanta, wide and proud, with iron gates, tall trees, and quiet power. Marcus Kingsley, tech billionaire and investor, was rarely home. His wife Naomi ran the household with precision and grace. Their miracle baby, Zuri, had been born after 10 years of waiting, prayers, and failed treatments. Zuri was everything to Naomi. That was why she hired extra help. Nia came recommended by an agency that claimed to train elite domestic staff. She was young, polite, and soft-spoken. She said she was from a small southern town, raised by her grandmother. She dressed neatly, spoke respectfully, and never complained. Naomi noticed how good she was with the baby. "Zuri likes her," Naomi told Marcus one night. "She barely cries when Nia holds her." "That's good," Marcus replied, already distracted by his tablet. "Just make sure the background checks are clean." They were, at least on paper. What no document showed was Nia's real past. Nia had grown up poor. Her mother died when she was 12. Her grandmother raised her, but when the old woman fell sick, a group from their community stepped in to help. They called themselves a women's circle. They offered food, money, and protection. But their help came with rules. They believed power could be transferred, that destiny could be stolen or shared, that certain children, especially those born into wealth and influence, carried a spiritual gate that could be opened. Breast milk, they said, was not just food. It was a bond, a bridge. By the time Nia realized how deep she was in, it was too late. They told her she had been chosen. "You will enter the house of power," the leader said. "You will feed the child, and through you we will rise." Nia cried, she begged, she said it was wrong. They reminded her of her grandmother's hospital bills. They reminded her of the oath she took. When the Kingsleys hired her, the circle celebrated. They taught her what to do, what herbs to burn, what words to whisper, how to hide it as care. At first, Nia only watched the baby. Then she held her. Then one night, when the nanny was sick and Naomi was exhausted, Nia offered help. "She won't take the bottle," Nia said gently. "Maybe skin to skin will calm her." Naomi hesitated, then nodded. That was the beginning. From that night on, Nia crossed a line she could never uncross. Each time, guilt ate her alive. Each time, fear pushed her forward. Until the night Naomi walked in early from a charity meeting. Until the scream. Now back in the locked nursery, Naomi sat on the couch with Zuri asleep in her arms. Her mind replayed everything she had ignored. The herbs she smelled before. The way Nia insisted on privacy. The strange lullabies. She felt sick. Marcus burst into the room, his face pale. "What happened?" security said. Naomi stood. "She was using our daughter," she said, her voice shaking with rage, "for something dark." Marcus looked at Nia on the floor. "Is this true?" Nia lifted her head. "I didn't want to," she whispered. "Please believe me." Naomi laughed, but there was no humor in it. "You didn't want to, but you did." She turned to Marcus. "If we don't act now, this won't end here." Marcus nodded slowly. "Then we act." Naomi looked down at her child, then back at the maid. And in her eyes was a decision so cold, so final, that even the guards shifted uneasily. "Get her up," Naomi said. "We are going to find out everything." Nia's body trembled as she was pulled to her feet. Because Naomi was not just angry. She was planning something drastic. And the first step was about to begin. Nia was led out of the nursery with her head down, her wrists shaking as security escorted her through the long hallway. The mansion that once felt warm now felt like a court of judgment. Every footstep echoed. Every painting on the wall seemed to watch her. Naomi followed behind, holding Zuri tightly. Marcus walked beside her, his face hard, his jaw clenched. He had built companies from nothing, faced lawsuits and betrayals, but nothing had prepared him for this kind of fear. This was his child, his blood, and someone had crossed a line that could never be erased. They took Nia to the small security room near the east wing. It was usually used for monitoring cameras. Tonight, it became an interrogation room. "Sit," Marcus said. Nia sat, her knees knocked together. Her uniform was still half wrinkled, her hair slightly loose from the neat bun she always kept. She looked young now, too young, not like the quiet, confident maid Naomi thought she knew. Naomi placed Zuri in Marcus's arms. "Hold her," she said softly. "I need to hear everything." Marcus nodded and stepped back, rocking the baby gently. Naomi pulled a chair and sat directly in front of Nia. "You will talk," she said, "and you will not lie." Nia swallowed hard. "Madam, if I talk, they will kill me." Naomi leaned closer. "If you don't, I will make sure you never see daylight again. Choose." Silence filled the room. Then Nia broke. She started crying, her shoulders shaking. Words poured out in pieces at first. Her grandmother, the women's circle, the promises, the threats. Naomi listened without interrupting. Marcus felt his stomach twist as he heard about the rituals, the belief that feeding the child would create a spiritual bond, that the child's future success could be shared or redirected. "This is madness," Marcus said finally. Nia shook her head desperately. "They believe it. They truly believe it works. They have done it before." Naomi's heart skipped. Before with whose child? Nia hesitated. "Speak," Naomi snapped. "Not in mansions like this," Nia said quietly. "But children who later became powerful, politicians, business owners. They watch families, they wait." Marcus felt anger rise like fire. "So you were watching us?" Nia nodded slowly. "From the day I arrived." Naomi stood up and walked away, pressing her hands against her temples. Her whole body felt hot. She had invited danger into her home. She had trusted the wrong person. "How long?" Naomi asked without turning. "3 times," Nia whispered. "Only 3, I swear." Marcus clenched his fists. 3 times was 3 times too many. Naomi turned back, her eyes sharp. "Who is the leader?" Nia's lips trembled. "She is called Mother Salome." Marcus frowned. "That's not a real name." "She says names change with power." Naomi took a deep breath. "Where is she?" "I don't know exactly," Nia said. "But she will know this has failed. She will come." Those words settled heavy in the room. Marcus handed Zuri to Naomi and stepped forward. "You have put my family in danger," he said quietly. "Do you understand that?" "Yes," Nia whispered. "Good," Marcus replied, "because this ends tonight." Naomi looked at him. "Marcus, we can't rush this. If what she's saying is true, we need to protect Zuri first." "I know," Marcus said. "That's why I'm calling Dr. Ellis and our security chief. Nobody leaves this house. Nobody comes in." Naomi nodded. Her mind was already racing. She thought of every time Nia had held Zuri alone, every time she had trusted her. She turned back to Nia. "You will stay here. You will eat, sleep, and breathe only when we allow it. And if you try anything at all, it will be the last mistake you make." Nia nodded quickly. "I won't, I swear." But even as she spoke, Naomi noticed something strange. Nia was calm. Too calm. As if part of her believed this was not the end. Later that night, Naomi sat in Zuri's room alone. The baby slept peacefully, unaware of the storm around her. Naomi watched her chest rise and fall. She touched her tiny fingers, kissed her forehead, and whispered prayers she had not said in years. She called her mother in Chicago. "Mom," Naomi said softly, "do you believe evil can hide in plain sight?" Her mother was quiet for a moment. "Baby," she said, "I believe anything that feeds on children is real." Naomi's eyes filled with tears. "What do I do?" "You fight," her mother replied, "and you don't fight alone." Naomi ended the call and sat back. She knew then that calling the police alone would not be enough. This was bigger than a crime. This was about belief, fear, and protection. Downstairs, Marcus met with the security chief and a private investigator. Cameras were checked, phone records pulled, Nia's contacts were reviewed. What they found chilled them. There were missed calls, messages deleted but not fully erased, locations tagged near the estate fence weeks before Nia was hired. They had been watching. Marcus looked at the screen and felt a cold truth settle in his chest. This was not over. In the security room, Nia lay on a small couch, staring at the ceiling. She closed her eyes and whispered a short chant under her breath. Not loud, not enough to be heard on camera. Somewhere far away, a woman paused mid-prayer. Mother Salome smiled. "The door is open," she said softly. Back upstairs, Naomi stood over Zuri's crib, unaware that the danger she thought she had contained was already moving again. And the drastic step she was planning might come too late. Morning came slowly over the Kingsley mansion, but peace did not come with it. Naomi had not slept. She sat in the nursery chair, watching Zuri breathe, counting every rise and fall of her tiny chest. Doctors had come during the night, private doctors Marcus trusted with his life. Blood tests were taken. Samples were collected. Nothing alarming showed up immediately, but that did not calm Naomi's heart. "Physically, she's fine," Dr. Ellis said carefully, "but we'll keep monitoring her." Physically. Naomi hated that word now. After the doctors left, Naomi stood by the window, staring at the gate outside. Armed guards now stood where gardeners used to joke and chat. The mansion felt like a fortress under siege. Marcus entered quietly. "The investigator traced some of the numbers on Nia's phone," he said. "They're burner lines, but one location keeps repeating." "Where?" Naomi asked. A church building on the south side, abandoned on paper, active in reality. Naomi closed her eyes. That's where this Mother Salome is. Most likely. Naomi turned to him. Then we don't wait. Marcus hesitated. Naomi, if we move too fast. She fed on my child, Naomi snapped, spinning around. Whatever she was trying to take, whatever she was trying to transfer, ends now. Marcus saw something in his wife's eyes that made him pause. This was not just fear anymore. This was resolve. Downstairs, Nia was awake. She sat upright as two guards escorted her to the dining area for breakfast. She barely touched the food. Her eyes kept drifting toward the windows, toward the trees. "You're expecting someone," the guard said flatly. Nia shook her head quickly. "No." But sweat had formed along her hairline. In the surveillance room, Naomi watched her on the screen. "She knows something is coming," Naomi said. Marcus nodded, "or someone." They decided to confront Nia again, this time with less patience. Nia was brought back into the security room. Naomi stood, arms crossed, her posture calm but deadly. "You said they would come," Naomi began. "How?" Nia swallowed. If the bond was completed, they would already be celebrating, but it was interrupted. "So they know they failed," Marcus said. "Yes," Nia replied, "and failure unjars them." Naomi leaned forward. "Tell me exactly what you were told to do to my child." Nia's voice trembled. "I was told that feeding her would open her spirit to guidance, that as she grows, she would be connected, that she would succeed, but part of her strength would never truly be hers." Naomi felt her chest tighten. "And you believed this?" "I didn't at first," Nia cried. "But they showed me things. Women who rose from nothing, families that became powerful after giving a child." Marcus slammed his hand on the table. "That's not power, that's theft." Nia flinched. Naomi straightened. "You were not just a maid in this house. You were a doorway." Nia broke down again. "Please, madam, I will help you stop them. I will testify. I will do anything." Naomi stared at her for a long moment. Then she said something that made Marcus turn sharply. "No." Nia looked up confused. "No. You will not testify," Naomi said. "You will not be their martyr or their shield." Marcus frowned. "Naomi." She raised a hand. "They want attention, they want fear. We will give them silence." She turned back to Nia. "You will lead us to them." Nia's eyes widened. "They will kill me." Naomi's voice was calm. "Not if I reach them first." For the first time, Nia understood something terrifying. Naomi Kingsley was not just a billionaire's wife. She was a mother who had crossed into a place where mercy no longer ruled. That afternoon, a black SUV rolled out of the Kingsley estate. Inside were Naomi, Marcus, two security professionals, and Nia in the back seat, hooded and shaking. They drove across the city, away from glass buildings and gated communities, into streets where churches doubled as meeting halls and abandoned buildings held secrets. The SUV slowed near a worn-down structure with faded paint and boarded windows. "That's it," Nia whispered. "They call it a house of prayer." Naomi looked at the building. There was no sign, no cross, just silence. Marcus checked his phone. "Security is set. Police are on standby." Naomi shook her head. "Not yet." She stepped out of the vehicle. As they approached, the front door creaked open. A woman stood inside, tall, wrapped in white cloth, her hair covered. Her eyes were sharp and knowing. "Mother Salome." "I wondered when you would come," the woman said, smiling. Naomi felt no fear. "You will never come near my child again," Naomi said. Mother Salome laughed softly. "You think this ends because you caught one girl." Naomi stepped closer. "This ends because you chose the wrong mother." The woman's smile faded. Behind Naomi, Nia gasped. Because Mother Salome was not alone. Others stepped forward from the shadows. Women, men, all watching silently. Marcus whispered, "Naomi." Naomi did not move. She reached into her bag and pulled out a folder. Inside were documents, recordings, names, photos. "I know who you are," Naomi said, "and by sunrise the world will too." Mother Salome's eyes narrowed. "You will regret this," she hissed. Naomi smiled coldly. "No, you will." As sirens began to echo faintly in the distance, Mother Salome raised her hand slowly. And Nia screamed, because she realized too late that Naomi's drastic plan was already in motion, and there was no turning back. The sirens never reached the building. They died out halfway down the street, cut short like a breath stolen mid-scream. Naomi noticed it immediately. Marcus did too. Mother Salome smiled again. "You came with noise," she said calmly. "This place survives on silence." Naomi did not step back. She raised the folder higher. "Everything in here is already copied. Names, donations, shell charities. If anything happens to us, it goes public." Mother Salome tilted her head. "You believe truth scares people like us." "It scares parasites," Naomi replied. The woman's eyes hardened. With a slow wave of her hand, the people behind her melted back into the shadows. The building suddenly felt empty, hollow, like a shell after the creature has crawled out. Mother Salome stepped aside. "Come in," she said. "Let's talk like mothers." Marcus grabbed Naomi's arm. "This is a trap." Naomi leaned in and whispered, "So is motherhood, and yet we survive it." She walked inside. The air was thick with incense and old dust. Candles burned along the walls, their flames steady, practiced. Naomi took in every detail. The symbols carved into wood, the shelves of jars, the quiet discipline of a place that had existed too long without question. Mother Salome gestured to a chair. "Sit." Naomi remained standing. "I didn't come for comfort." "Neither did I," Mother Salome said. "I came for balance." "By stealing from children," Naomi snapped. Mother Salome's voice dropped. "By correcting injustice. Some are born into abundance, others are born into hunger. We level the ground." Marcus stepped forward. "You exploit fear and desperation." Mother Salome smiled faintly. "Like corporations do, like governments do." Naomi held her gaze. "Do not compare yourself to systems. You are a choice, and you chose my child." For the first time, Mother Salome's expression shifted, just slightly. "You think this was about money," she said. "It was about legacy. Your daughter will grow powerful no matter what. We only ask to be connected." Naomi felt a surge of rage so sharp it surprised her. "You do not connect to my child. You do not touch her future. You do not breathe near her." She opened the folder and slid photos across the table. "These are your donors, your recruiters, your safe houses." Mother Salome glanced down, unbothered. "You've done your homework." "Yes," Naomi said, "and I will finish it." Mother Salome leaned back. "You won't because you need me." Naomi laughed once. "I need you to disappear." The woman shook her head. "Your maid, Nia, she is marked. If she speaks publicly, if she testifies, the circle will turn on her. Quietly, completely." Marcus stiffened. Naomi did not blink. "She will be protected." Mother Salome smiled. "For how long? A year, two? We wait longer than that." Naomi stepped closer until they were inches apart. "Then you will wait in prison." Mother Salome's eyes flicked toward the ceiling. "You think prisons hold ideas?" Before Naomi could respond, a sharp cry echoed from outside. "Nia!" Marcus spun toward the door. "She's in danger." Naomi moved fast, too fast. They burst out of the building just in time to see Nia collapse near the SUV, gasping for air. A man in dark clothing disappeared between two buildings. Security shouted. One fired a warning shot into the air. The man was gone. Nia's body shook violently. Her eyes rolled back. Naomi dropped to her knees beside her. "Call an ambulance, now." Marcus was already on the phone. Nia's lips moved. She touched me," she whispered. "She said I was never free." Naomi held her hand tightly. "You are free," she said. "You hear me? You are free." Nia's breathing slowed, then steadied. But Naomi knew something had changed. Mother Salome had made her move. Back at the mansion, the atmosphere shifted from alert to war-ready. Private security doubled. The gates stayed closed. Naomi refused to leave Zuri's side. Nia was placed in a medical room under constant watch. Doctors said she would recover, but the fear in her eyes had deepened. Marcus sat with Naomi late into the night. "We should involve federal authorities," he said quietly. "We will," Naomi replied, "but not before we control the story." Marcus studied her. "You're thinking 5 steps ahead." Naomi nodded. "She thrives in shadows. We drag her into light, but on our terms." She opened her laptop and began typing. Emails, calls, quiet conversations with people who owed favors, journalists who investigated cults, lawyers who dismantled networks. By dawn, the first domino fell. A charity linked to Mother Salome was frozen for financial irregularities. Then another. Then a third. Mother Salome responded with silence. That frightened Naomi more than anger ever could. 3 days later, Zuri cried nonstop for the first time since the incident. Naomi held her, rocked her, sang softly, but nothing worked. Naomi's chest tightened. Something's wrong. Doctors ran tests again, still nothing. That night, Naomi dreamed of hands reaching through darkness, grasping for her child. She woke up screaming. Marcus held her. "She's safe." Naomi whispered, "Not yet." The next morning, a package arrived at the gate. No return address. Inside was a small white cloth, folded carefully. And a note. "Connections do not break easily." Naomi stared at it for a long time. Then she burned it. She turned to Marcus. "We're done waiting." Because Naomi had realized something terrifying. Mother Salome was not trying to win. She was trying to remind Naomi that the game was still on. And now Naomi was ready to end it, no matter the cost. The first arrest happened quietly. It was not Mother Salome. It was a woman who ran a wellness daycare 2 states away. The investigators Marcus hired found links, payments, coded language, shared donors. By the time dawn broke, federal agents were at her door. Naomi watched the news without sound, Zuri asleep against her chest. She did not feel relief. Not yet. "This is just the skin," Naomi said. "The bone is deeper." Marcus nodded, but skin bleeding attracts attention. Naomi finally smiled, thin and controlled. Attention was exactly what she wanted. Over the next week, Naomi moved with precision. She never raised her voice. She never rushed. She became something sharper than anger, focused. Nia recovered slowly. The doctors said the episode outside the building was caused by a fast-acting toxin absorbed through the skin. Not enough to kill, enough to warn. "That was a message," Marcus said. "Yes," Naomi replied, "and I'm sending one back." Against Marcus's initial concern, Naomi arranged a private meeting with Nia. No guards inside the room, just a glass wall, cameras recording everything. Nia sat stiffly, hands folded. She looked smaller now, stripped of confidence and belief. Naomi sat across from her. "I won't threaten you," Naomi said. "I won't promise miracles, but I will tell you the truth." Nia nodded slowly. "They used you," Naomi continued. "They taught you fear and called it purpose. If you go back to silence, they will still own you." Nia swallowed. "And if I speak?" "They will come for you," Naomi said honestly. "But they are already coming. Silence won't save you. Only light will." Tears filled Nia's eyes. "I never wanted to hurt her." I know, Naomi said. That doesn't erase what happened, but it gives you a chance to do the right thing. Nia took a deep breath. What do you need from me? Naomi leaned forward. Everything. Over the next days, Nia spoke. She told names, places, codes. She described how recruiters targeted poor girls with strong maternal instincts, how they were taught to see certain children as vessels of opportunity rather than people. Each word made Naomi's stomach twist. One night, after listening to a recording of Nia's testimony, Naomi locked herself in the bathroom and cried until her body shook. Marcus sat outside the door, saying nothing, letting her break safely. I failed her, Naomi whispered when she finally came out. Marcus held her. You protected her, that's not failure. Naomi shook her head. Protection doesn't end with walls, it ends with endings. That same night, Naomi made a decision Marcus did not expect. She called a press contact. Not to go public yet. To prepare. I want the story ready, Naomi said. When I say go, it goes everywhere. The journalist paused. This will expose powerful people. Naomi's voice was steady. Then let them burn. Mother Salome resurfaced 3 days later. Not in person. On Naomi's phone. The call came from an unknown number. Naomi answered without hesitation. You are persistent, Mother Salome said calmly. And you are loud for someone who claims to value silence, Naomi replied. A soft laugh. You are tearing down structures you do not understand. I understand enough, Naomi said. You hide behind belief to excuse abuse. Mother Salome sighed. Your child will grow, she will feel the echo. You cannot erase connection. Naomi closed her eyes for a brief second. Then she opened them. You are wrong, Naomi said, because connection requires consent, and you never had mine. There was a pause. You think prison scares me? Mother Salome asked. No, Naomi said, exposure does. Another pause, longer. You are willing to destroy lives, Mother Salome said. Naomi's voice hardened. You destroyed them first. The call ended. Marcus looked at Naomi. That sounded final. It was, Naomi said. She knows what's coming. The next morning, Naomi did something that shocked even her security team. She left the mansion. Publicly. Cameras caught her entering a women's advocacy center with Zuri in her arms. She did not speak to reporters. She did not explain. But the message was clear. She was not hiding. Inside the center, Naomi met with survivors of ritual abuse, coercion, and exploitation. She listened more than she spoke. She learned how deep the wounds went. How many children had been used under the excuse of tradition. By the time she returned home, Naomi's resolve had hardened into something unmovable. That night Marcus brought her a report. We found her, he said quietly. Naomi looked up. Where? Not the church, a rural property, private land, well guarded. Naomi did not hesitate. Good. Marcus studied her. You're not thinking of confronting her again. No, Naomi said. I'm thinking of ending this without her being able to rewrite the story. Marcus exhaled slowly. That means going public. Naomi nodded. At the right moment. She looked at Zuri sleeping peacefully nearby. My daughter will never grow up in a world where this stays hidden. Marcus reached for her hand. Then we do this together. Naomi squeezed his hand back. But as they stood there, unaware, a woman watched the mansion from a distant road, binoculars pressed to her face. Mother Salome had not run. She was waiting. And she was preparing something that would force Naomi's hand sooner than planned. The power went out at exactly 2:17 a.m. Not a flicker, not a warning. 1 second the mansion hummed with quiet electricity. The next it was swallowed by darkness. Naomi was already awake. She sat up in bed instantly, heart pounding. Zuri stirred in her crib beside the bed, making a soft sound. Naomi was on her feet in seconds, lifting her child into her arms. "Marcus," she whispered sharply. Marcus was already moving, reaching for the flashlight on the nightstand. Backup generators should kick in. They didn't. That was the first sign this was not random. Security radios crackled in the hallway. Footsteps thundered. Somewhere in the distance, a dog barked wildly, then went silent. Naomi felt her body go cold. "They're here," she said. Marcus tightened his grip on the flashlight. "Stay with Zuri, don't move." Naomi shook her head. "I'm not leaving her side, ever." Emergency lights finally flickered on, bathing the hallways in red. The sound made everything feel like an alarm that never stopped ringing. Marcus opened the bedroom door slowly. 2 guards lay unconscious near the stairwell. Not dead. Placed. That detail frightened Naomi more than blood would have. Whoever had done this wanted them alert, watching, afraid. Marcus's phone buzzed in his hand. A text message. "You forced the ending, now watch the middle." Naomi didn't need to ask who sent it. "Lock down the West Wing," Marcus ordered into his radio. "Move all staff to the safe room." Naomi held Zuri tighter, whispering prayers under her breath. Then another message came through. This one was a video. Against every instinct, Naomi tapped play. The screen showed Nia. She was alive, sitting upright, but her eyes were empty, like someone looking through the world instead of at it. "Madam Naomi," Nia said softly, "I'm sorry." Naomi's knees almost gave out. Behind Nia stood Mother Salome. Not smiling this time. "You wanted light," Mother Salome said calmly, "so I brought you a mirror." The video ended. Naomi's chest burned. "She took her," Naomi whispered. "She took Nia." Marcus clenched his jaw. "We'll get her back." "No," Naomi said, her voice low and steady in a way that surprised even her. "She wants me to panic. She wants me to rush." Marcus looked at her. "Then what do we do?" Naomi closed her eyes for 1 second. When she opened them, something had changed. "We release everything," she said. Marcus stared. "Now." "Now," Naomi repeated. "Tonight." "But Nia." "She made her choice," Naomi said quietly, "and I will not trade my child's safety for a threat." Marcus hesitated, then slowly he nodded. "Okay." Within minutes, phones rang across the country. Files were sent. Links unlocked. The journalist Naomi prepared weeks earlier went live with the story. By sunrise, the internet was on fire. Headlines exploded. Secret networks, ritual abuse, charities under investigation, powerful donors named. Mother Salome's name trended before breakfast. Police sirens returned, this time in dozens. The rural property Marcus's team had identified was raided before noon. Federal agents swarmed the place. Cameras caught women being led out in cuffs, men shouting, documents seized. But Mother Salome was not there. Neither was Nia. Naomi watched the coverage with Zuri asleep against her chest. Her hands shook, but her voice stayed calm. "She ran," Marcus said, "but she's exposed. She can't hide forever." Naomi nodded slowly. "She doesn't need forever. She only needs one moment." As if summoned by the thought, Naomi's phone rang again. Unknown number. Naomi answered. "You burned everything," Mother Salome said, her voice quieter now, tired. "Do you feel powerful?" Naomi replied without hesitation. "I feel finished." A breath on the other end. "You think you won?" "I know I did," Naomi said, "because my child is safe." Silence. Then Mother Salome spoke again, softer than before. "You should check your front gate." The line went dead. Marcus was already moving, pulling up the security feed. At the gate, a single figure stood. Nia. She was barefoot, her clothes torn, her face pale. She held up her hand slowly as guards approached. Naomi ran. She didn't wait for permission. She didn't think. By the time she reached the gate, Nia had collapsed to her knees. "They're gone," Nia whispered. "The circle is broken." Naomi looked around wildly. "Where is she?" Nia shook her head weakly. "She left me, said my debt was paid." Ambulances arrived. Medics lifted Nia onto a stretcher. As they wheeled her away, Nia reached for Naomi's hand. "I'm sorry," she whispered again. Naomi held her gaze. "So am I." As the gates closed and the sun rose fully over the mansion, Naomi finally allowed herself to breathe. But deep inside, she knew something wasn't right. Mother Salome had not fought back. She had walked away. And women like that never do so without leaving something behind. The world did not calm down after the exposure. It exploded. For days, news vans camped outside the Kingsley gates. Naomi refused interviews. Marcus released one written statement and nothing more. Arrests continued across different states. Bank accounts were frozen. Shell charities collapsed overnight. The circle was unraveling. But Naomi felt no victory. Nia survived. She was placed in a secure medical facility under government protection. She spoke less now, her eyes distant, her voice careful, as if words themselves could still be used against her. Doctors said trauma had layered over trauma. "She'll need time," one of them said. Naomi nodded. Time was something she no longer trusted. Zuri's crying eased. Her sleep returned to normal. Doctors confirmed again that she showed no physical harm. Still, Naomi watched her closely, as if danger might leak out of the walls themselves. One evening, Naomi sat alone in the nursery, the lights dim. Marcus stood in the doorway. "You haven't eaten," he said. Naomi didn't turn. "I will." Marcus stepped closer. "You did everything you could." Naomi finally looked at him. "I let someone into my home who saw my child as a tool." Marcus knelt beside her. "You stopped it." Naomi swallowed hard. "After it started." They sat in silence for a long moment. Then Naomi spoke again. "I keep thinking about her." "Mother Salome?" Marcus asked. Naomi nodded. "She didn't fight, she didn't threaten after the exposure. She just disappeared." "That means she's done," Marcus said. Naomi shook her head slowly. "No, it means she's changed shape." As if to confirm Naomi's fear, a report came in the next day. A woman matching Mother Salome's description had been spotted at a border crossing under a different name. Documents were real, clean, too clean. "She planned this," Marcus said quietly. "Multiple exits, multiple identities." Naomi closed her eyes. Then prison was never her fear. "What was?" Marcus asked. Naomi opened her eyes, being known. That night, Naomi made one final move. She didn't announce it. She didn't ask permission. She established a foundation. Not in Zuri's name. In Nia's. The Nia Project focused on protecting domestic workers, migrant caregivers, and young women recruited through coercion. Legal aid, therapy, safe housing, education. When Marcus asked why, Naomi answered simply, "Because silence feeds predators." The announcement spread fast. Survivors came forward, stories poured in, patterns emerged, and slowly, quietly, the circle lost what little ground it had left. Weeks passed. Then months. The mansion felt like a home again. One afternoon, Naomi sat on the lawn watching Zuri take unsteady steps toward Marcus, laughing as he held out his arms. For the first time in a long time, Naomi smiled without forcing it. Maybe this was the end. That night, a letter arrived. Not mailed. Placed. It was addressed by hand. Naomi opened it carefully. Inside was a single line. "Some doors close, others wait. No signature. No threat. Just a reminder. Naomi folded the letter and burned it in the fireplace without a word. Marcus watched her. Do you think she'll ever stop? Naomi stared into the flames. People like her don't stop believing. They stop having access. She turned to Marcus, and I will make sure of that. Naomi walked back upstairs, lifted Zuri from her crib and held her close. Whatever shadows still existed in the world, they would not touch her child again. Because this time, Naomi Kingsley was watching. The final blow did not come with sirens or headlines. It came quietly, the way real endings often do. 3 months after the letter was burned, a sealed court filing landed on a federal judge's desk. It was thick, organized, relentless. It connected names that had never appeared together before: donors, shell companies, offshore trusts, spiritual retreats, and adoption agencies that never completed adoptions. At the center of it all was a pattern. Not belief. Control. The filing did not mention Mother Salome by name. It didn't need to. It followed the money, the land deeds, the forged identities. It mapped the exits she used, the silence she bought, and the fear she sold. By the time warrants were issued, borders were already closed to her network. She ran again. This time, there was nowhere left to land. In a small coastal country far from Atlanta, a woman using a new name was detained for document fraud. She did not resist. She did not argue. When authorities searched her belongings, they found something unexpected. Files, names, ritual records. She had kept them because part of her still believed someone would come back for the knowledge. No one did. The extradition took weeks. Naomi did not attend the hearings. She watched from home, holding Zuri on her lap as Marcus explained what was happening. They have enough, Marcus said quietly. Enough to make sure she never leads anyone again. Naomi nodded. Good. On the day the sentence was handed down, Naomi took Zuri to the park. She let her crawl on the grass, laugh at birds, reach for strangers with the fearless curiosity of a child who had been protected just in time. The world did not know how close it came to losing something precious. And it didn't need to. Nia was the last loose thread. She testified behind closed doors. Her voice shook, but it did not break. She told the truth without excuses. When she finished, she cried, not out of fear but relief. Afterward, Naomi met her one last time. Nia looked healthier, stronger, still healing. I don't expect forgiveness, Nia said softly. Naomi nodded. You're right, forgiveness is personal. She paused, then added, but accountability changes futures. You chose that. Nia's eyes filled with tears. Thank you for not letting them erase me. Naomi stood. Live well, she said. That's how cycles end. They never met again. The mansion returned to normal life, but Naomi was not the same woman who had hired a young maid months earlier. She had learned that evil did not always arrive screaming. Sometimes it arrived recommended. The Nia project grew beyond expectations. Laws were rewritten. Agencies changed hearing practices. Background checks deepened. Mandatory reporting expanded. Quiet changes. Real ones. One evening, Naomi sat on the balcony as the sun set, Zuri asleep in her arms. Marcus joined her, handing her a cup of tea. It's over, he said. Naomi looked out at the city. No, she said calmly, it's contained. Marcus smiled faintly. You don't miss who you were before this. Naomi thought for a long moment. I miss being unaware, she said, but I don't miss being unprepared. She looked down at Zuri, peaceful and whole. Some mothers protect with walls, others protect with truth. Marcus nodded, in drastic steps. Naomi didn't deny it. The world would keep spinning, other dangers would exist, but this one, This shadow had been dragged into the open and stripped of its power. Naomi stood, holding her child close. Whatever doors still waited in the dark would stay closed to her family. Because this time, the ending belonged to the mother. And she had chosen it. Thank you for watching Black Race Tales. Remember, every story carries a lesson, and every lesson carries our legacy. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, and share this story with someone who needs its message today. See you in the next tale.